My name is Glenn, and you're listening to Radio Scramble on Axe Radio, and I'm here with a very, very special guest today. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Armant L'Heareux. I just released an album on Spotify and Apple Music. It's called Gatorade. Yeah, it's my debut album, and I'm very proud of it. Very happy to get it out there.
Nice. It's very exciting, and I get to sit down with Armant today and ask him a few questions, which is super awesome. So you just mentioned that you've had some of these songs written and lined up for a while now that you put on this album. So what's the oldest one that you wrote?
So the oldest one that I wrote is from ninth grade, so 4 years ago now. Modern Day Mozart. I wrote it as part of like a songwriting class. I remember I started in French class. I don't really know why. It came to me then. So that's, yeah, from 4 years ago. Most of the rest are from like 2 years ago, some 1 year ago. None are recent.
Yeah. So have you noticed anything about your creative process or writing process that has changed since writing something, say, in ninth grade versus 2 years ago or now?
Yeah, 100%. You can kind of tell like which ones are older and which ones are newer, because the older ones are like, I was listening to a lot of 60s and 70s music back then. So like, say Modern Day Mozart is really inspired by like the Monkees, for example.
Mhm.
While more recent ones like say Rockstar are more and like She Knows are more inspired by like kind of 2000s rock and like indie and stuff.
Yeah. That both of those references you just really shine through, I think, on the album there. And sort of connecting to that, where do you get your inspiration from also lyrically?
Lyrically, it's kind of hard to say. It really depends what I'm listening to at the moment.
Mhm.
Um, and like I always try to make them sound like myself, like sound like something that I, or at least like a version of myself would say.
Yeah.
Um, but um, it's really just what I'm inspired by at the moment. Like I'll go on uh kind of tangents where I'll just listen to a song over and over again and try to figure out how I can write a song that evokes a similar or the same feeling. And then
Yeah.
from there, I um take either like lyrical motifs or something, or um like a phrase that I like and kind of try to turn it into my own. And I start like kind of trying to imitate the person's style until eventually I like kind of come up with something good. And then I
Yeah.
work with that from there.
Nice. I want to know what recording this album looked like, because I know you started recording things in your bedroom just with you, but I
Mhm.
think it's grown a bit since then.
It definitely has, yeah. So, I did it all in Logic, and I like produced all of it myself. Originally, I had the intention to make it um, completely me, like every track that you heard was me on the album. Um, but I realized that fake drums only go so far, so I cracked eventually, and asked my drummer who plays my gigs live to just record all the songs since he knew them already.
Mhm.
Um, and then from there, I kind of was like, it sounds better. So like on Wide Eyed Dolls, those are real strings at the end. And then on some of my other songs, I have trumpets, and like those are also real. So just kind
That's
of
sick.
embracing like it's still my own if people help me and make it, infinitely better than it would have been if it was just me.
Hmm. Is there any song on the album that in particular you want to highlight, or one that you're specifically proud of?
Um, so yeah, so personally, my favorite one of my songs is You Talk Too Much.
Dude,
Um
me too.
um it's a bit more out there than the rest of mine. Like I think most of the rest of my songs are kind of like just nice and like fun to listen to and catchy. But You Talk Too Much for me stands out as like everyone that I've shown it to hates it at first and then loves it by the end. By the end, it's their favorite song. And that's exactly why I love it so much. It's a roller coaster.
Yeah, exactly. I like the contrast between the sort of more speaking parts and then the chorus is just banging, man.
Yeah, exactly. It's just fun.
Yeah, exactly. I have some more questions too about you just as a musician in general. So I asked this question to Geese when I interviewed them last year, and they all seemed to like it. If you could play live in any city or a specific venue even, do you have sort of like a dream destination of where you'd want to play?
Ooh, that's a hard one. Um, I think honestly, yeah, I think if I like for some reason every big band that like I've ever been a fan of, like whenever they take a tour to Japan, like it
Yeah.
just like changes their like whole worldview,
Yeah.
and like they start writing different kinds of music and stuff. Um, so I honestly, yeah, I'd say there.
Nice.
France. I think France would be cool because then I could
Yeah.
actually try to speak French for once.
Yeah, Geese also said Japan, which
Yeah.
I think there's something about when musicians go there, specifically, like I love listening to live recordings from tours that they did in Japan. There's just something about it, like you said.
Yeah.
And speaking of talking about playing live, I've had the opportunity to watch you play live quite a bit between coffee houses, assemblies, and also outside of school too. And your passion for music and performing just really, really shines through. So what is it about performing live that really just gets you excited?
Just like kind of like interacting with the audience and making music more than just like a sound, but like a feeling.
Mhm.
Like if I look into the crowd and people are dancing, then I know I'm doing a good job. Like I like playing and making music to make people happy.
Mhm.
Um, and it's like that's the best part of performing for me.
Nice. And since you are in your first year of university now, what has your sort of musical process or musical life looked like since you've gotten there?
Um, I I'm still doing it all myself. Still like chugging things out. There have been a lot more like opportunities to meet people with like different backgrounds than mine and different like especially like musical styles. Um, so it's really interesting to like like make a band with someone who's like a hip hop producer and then also someone who's like a metalhead, and it's like it kind of comes together really well. Um, and it's just like it's a lot of new opportunities.
Nice. And of course, I have to ask what music you've been listening to lately, which I
Oh,
know is a hard question, but
that is a hard question. Let me check Spotify. Um, I mean, just like honestly, I haven't been listening to too much because it's just like I've been focusing on getting the album out. But if I
Mhm.
had to say something, um, a lot of indie alt rock, uh,
Nice.
some like Johnny, some Parcels, some like a little bit of the Neighborhood, Stargazing.
Solid.
Um, yeah.
Nice. And what is next for you in terms of music, or what do you hope to do next?
What do I hope to do next? I'm kind of playing it by ear. Like I I know I want to, be involved with music my whole life. I mean, I say that now, but um definitely like I want to play more shows. I want to like uh do a tour if that's possible. Um and then just keep making stuff, keep producing and just keep going.
Nice. And you seem to enjoy the whole production end of things too. What has how you because again, like you said, you did it all in Logic and you can produce an entire album on your laptop. How did you sort of get into that aspect of the music side too?
So it started in like 10th grade, so kind of a year after I started writing songs. Um, and they would just like be stuck in my head and I could hear how they should sound. And I just wanted to be able to like go in and record it. Um,
Mhm.
because I didn't really have a band back then that I could like string together a way to record it. Um, so I was like, all right, I'll just do it myself. Um, and it took a while. They were everything that I made was really bad for a really long time, but it made it easier to like write songs and kind of envision like what they actually do sound like. And it became very clear who I was inspired by because like all of my music started sounding like The Strokes and Arctic Monkeys. And um it's like teaching myself how to produce has kind of made me approach making music from a new angle because like it's not always the lyrics and the story first.
Mhm. Nice. And little self-promo thing, where can people find you?
Under my name, Armant L'Heareux. That's ARMANTLHEUREUX. It's French. I know it's weird. On Spotify, Apple Music, everything. Yeah, Armant L'Heareux. It's released an album, Gatorade. You can probably find that too.
Nice. And do you have anything else you want to share with anyone who's listening?
I don't think so. I think I'm all set.
Solid. Well, thank you for joining me today. And again, you can find his album Gatorade on all streaming platforms, and you should definitely check it out because it is worth listening to.